lot to talk about today. Off the rip, MLB trade deadline is today. It ends today at 6 p.m.
Yep.
It is currently 5:31 on the day of recording, so we had about 2 hours left. It's going to be a lot of moves here, maybe a couple that break.
A lot of moves so far. What the Orioles are doing, not too much stuff, but the Angels, my God.
Yeah, we're going to get into the Angels heavily here soon.
Jeez.
The Orioles are making a move. I guarantee it. I know I tweeted out on
the Rangers too, my God.
Yeah, we'll talk the Rangers and Angels for sure. They've been the most active, but I did put out on Twitter yesterday. You can follow us on there. I'll drop the link at Inside Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff that I tweeted out yesterday was on my personal, which is on the link as well, or on the screen. Yours is on there as well, so they can follow all that on there. We got to talk about, first off, Diamondbacks in Seattle made a trade yesterday.
Oh, my God.
Paul Sewald for two prospects and Josh Rojas.
Yeah.
Right out the gate. That's a good move for the Diamondbacks. They needed to bolster that.
Closer, yeah.
Sewell on the season has a 2.93 ERA, which I tweeted out yesterday on 43 innings pitched, which is pretty good for a closer.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'd want to see that lower, but he does not have the fastball like, Clase or Edwin Diaz or Rafael Iglesias has.
I think with that team, they will make it better.
It definitely will.
Especially with the Seattle, what they,
yeah.
for them.
Seattle needed to find a way to cash in
Disappointed
for
them.
They've been disappointing all year. I know you picked them to win the division. Yeah. I believe I picked the Angels to win it, so if we have to go back and look at that, I'm not sure. In July, though, Sewell had a 3.18 ERA, a 1.15 WHIP, which is not good. He had 18 strikeouts, 7 save opportunities, so he was 7 for 7 on the dice there on 11 and 1/3 inning pitch. So he did pretty good.
They did pretty good.
It was a good trade for the Diamondbacks. Jumping in here, just a little small trade, nothing major, but it brings the utility and allows them to give these other big guys like Austin Riley rest, and that is Nicky Lopez for Taylor Hearn. Third baseman Nicky Lopez goes to the Braves, and the Royals get a Hearn. That's Taylor Hearn.
It wasn't a big trade. It's just
no, but it does give them depth. You be a utility guy in there. And then why don't you tell us about the Angels, man? Because this is a big trade that swung this weekend.
C.J. Cron, Randall Grichuk.
Yep.
For Jake Madden and Mason Albright.
So they got a first baseman who is a lot better than Jared Walsh, I'll say.
Of course.
And they get outfield help. Trout needs some help. Moniak is not doing the best. I mean, he's doing well, but he's not doing best.
I think the Angels can be in a wild card.
I think they're pushing for division with this trade.
I don't know.
Because Grichuk has been killer for them. And look at what he did against the Braves. His first at-bat. Or his second at-bat of the game, hard. 6th inning, he had a 2-run homer.
Rangers and Astros right now. Well, we can talk about that later.
I mean, yeah, we're going to get into it for sure. I mean, the Angels, that's just 2 moves they've made so far. I mean, that's, 2 players right there for 2 prospects. They're willing to go all in to win it with Shohei, it looks like. Rangers get a former Yankee in this trade, Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton. Pitcher. Yep. They get a starting pitcher and relief pitcher.
A reliever pitcher.
For 3 prospects, John King, Thomas Sagis, and Takoa Roby. 1 relief pitcher, 1 1 shortstop, and 1 pitcher. So, I mean, that's just, the tip of the iceberg for some of these trades.
Well, they needed after they lost DeGrom, after, they need as pitcher so far because of the injuries.
That they did.
Yeah, so they got better.
I did say that the Orioles, they did report yesterday, Orioles were interested in Verlander. That's off the table.
Yes, off the table.
Justin Verlander just traded back to Houston about 20 minutes ago.
He just waived that trade clause and go to the Astros. I think
the team he just left.
He don't want to go to the Orioles, I think, in my opinion.
Well, there was rumors he could go to L.A. He said he'd rather go to the Astros.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's for
because the relationship reasons. Between Jim Crane and Verlander. Astros, I think, with the trust he have over Maldonado as a catcher, Verlander could be a Cy Young, not Cy Young candidate, but it will be a Cy Young pitcher
for the rest of the year, at least performance-wise.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even have Maldonado catching every day now. It's a prospect that Cleveland traded away to get Miles Straw years ago.
Yeah, but look at this. Rangers acquire Max Scherzer.
Right back to the Rangers. I mean, and they gave up 1 shortstop.
Yeah, that was it.
Luis Angel Acuna, shortstop. That's 1 prospect for Rangers, and they also the Mets on both these deals are paying a good chunk of money out of the Scherzer's contract and Verlander.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge right there.
Can you explain to me the next trade, please?
Yeah, I don't want to.
But
Unfortunately,
I
know.
understand what is this all about.
So this kind of has two things that I can see with it, but also I don't see. Ahmed Rosario's traded to the Dodgers. The reason Cleveland did this trade, and by the way, they got Noah Syndergaard back. The reason they did this trade is they have so many young infield prospects that they have to find a way to go through the system, whether it be in Rocchio, Arias, Freeman. They needed to get Rosario out of here. He was on an expiring contract. Now, Noah Syndergaard, that I don't get.
No, I don't get it.
I don't know how you don't get another prospect on that.
Cash. Well, they
got 1.9 million cash consideration.
That was nothing. But
no, that's nothing at all.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I still don't get it.
It's just one of those things where
the Dodgers was desperate to get a shortstop.
And you know what? Speaking of which, Noah Syndergaard, and I told you, Ahmed Rosario was a trade target for the Dodgers. That made sense for them. They needed to upgrade from Rojas. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely needed. But Noah Syndergaard pitched last night.
That was
phenomenal.
I think this trade...
It worked out for Cleveland. It did. Because guess what he did yesterday? 5 1/3 innings pitched. He gave up 1 run. He left the game with a runner on base because he got hit in the leg with a comebacker.
Oh, my God.
So he's just coming off the injured list. Now he's back on it, guaranteed. So that kind of was helping Cleveland until that happened. So, and then they go ahead and trade away Aaron Savali.
I think that trade, it was good for Cleveland.
It is, but it's not. 2 reasons. It's good if Cleveland's able to swing a Josh Bell trade, which we're still waiting on. We still have 2 hours left in the trade deadline. If Cleveland can swing a Josh Bell trade, that trade makes sense because the player we got back, he's a good power bat, left-handed. He's got pop. He's able to hit the ball normally, like, singles, doubles, all that. But he's good defensively. It's something that it makes sense if you're able to trade Josh Bell. But I don't know how you don't get more than just one guy.
Yeah, I agree.
On 2.5 years of control. Don't get me wrong, Savali's hurt all the time, but that still does not make any freaking sense to me.
No.
Anything that you have on the X? Not the Twitter, the X.
The X, nothing yet. There's this is by John Boy and also by Joel Mix. There's some trade expectation by the Yankees. Could be, but they don't tweet about Yankees specifically, but they put like the boiling, like a hot boil.
Well, here's the one thing I see. It's about an hour ago almost now, but no Bader in the lineup for the Yankees.
No Bader or Giancarlo Stanton either.
Yeah, the problem is the Stanton ain't waiving his no trade clause.
That's the problem. If they want to trade Giancarlo, he has to agree with the trade clause. He's disappointed for the Yankees. I'm serious.
All right. Well,
we can talk about the trade.
Well, no. So why don't we step away from all the transactions real quick? I want to ask you about that real quick. So,
okay.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
What is a team that he would be willing to waive his no trade clause to? Do you think he would be willing? And I'm not. No way in hell is he going to the Astros. There's no way. But would he waive it for a team like the Angels or a team like the Dodgers?
I don't think the Angels need an outfielder right now.
Well, I'm just saying a team like them. So, like, for instance, do you think that if he were to get traded to the Dodgers, you think they would take that?
It depends with the Dodgers. I think if I'm on the Yankees, I will find a trade that he wants to go, and you have to eat that contract.
Where would you think he wants to go? That's the problem.
I don't think the Cubs, they need outfielders. They have too many.
Yeah, Cubs aren't also. They're not really competing. I mean, they are, but they're not. They're in 3rd place.
What about the Orioles? Maybe I don't know.
That's just too much for an injury-prone guy.
Yankees have to eat that contract. No matter.
Not only that, they have to not expect more than maybe 1 or 2 players back.
Maybe San Diego. Maybe.
That makes sense because they have just been abominable in all their other trades.
San Diego. Maybe it's the only possibility.
Breaking news right now on the TV right behind you is acquired by the Phillies is Tigers pitcher Michael Lorenzo. I did make a trade tweet about that earlier yesterday about if the Orioles didn't land Verlander, which clearly they didn't, watch the Orioles try to go for Lorenzo or even Eduardo Rodriguez.
So that's the next one.
And that's the one that I'm waiting on.
The Dodgers will be... After they lost Verlander, I think maybe they will think about that. Think about the trades about the Yankees. If I'm the Yankees, I will trade every single rental pieces. Harrison Bader out.
IKF's one of them.
IKF is one of them.
Do you think?
Herman will be another? Oh, depends. Severino, but what you get from Severino?
What about Oswaldo Cabrera?
He's in AAA right now.
I mean,
yeah,
he can play what? He plays third and first and outfield.
He's our utility man.
Yeah, so I mean, a guy who can, you know. There was also a trade yesterday I seen that kind of makes sense, and that was the Cubs. Yeah. They needed help at DH, and they ended up getting Candelario. They traded for him. He was posting a 250. He's posting a 256 right now, and that's solid for a DH. I mean, I looked at who was DHing for them last game they played, and that was Yan Gomes. So you could definitely do better there. Don't get me wrong, Yan Gomes is having a good year, but they needed a better DH.
Another thing. Yes. Do you see what happened yesterday at the Yankees game?
I did not.
So, Aaron Boone, and I know I'm not supposed to say this, but Aaron Boone just said that he scratched Domingo Germán to start yesterday because of the armpits problem.
I seen that on Twitter today.
And then he said that he had to see a doctor before anything. He's a starter.
And then he comes out of the bullpen.
And the Yankees was losing 5-1 against the Tampa Bay. And he put it back in the reliever, and he did 5 innings shutout. I just don't.
Sorry, I was looking at the TV right behind you.
I just don't get it. How my emotions need to be very low.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how a manager will say something like that, and then making a freaking excuses that, you know.
You want to talk about managers with excuses? How about what Terry Francona had to say yesterday after losing the game?
What he said.
Miles Straw was an automatic out. If for whatever reason, Miles Straw finds his way into the freaking end of the game, and he's like, okay, 2 outs left to go. I'm going to give you your second out. For whatever reason, bottom of the ninth, when the game is a chance, you can at least extend it and try to make a comeback. He always ends up in those situations. Somebody asked him, I believe it was Cleveland's beat reporter Zach Meisel. He actually asked him, did you think about pinch hitting Straw? And he goes, well, who would you like me to pinch hit? David Fry, Tyler Freeman, good. Oscar Gonzalez, maybe a power bat.
David Fry's doing a good job.
You know what his response was?
What?
We needed a base runner.
Oh my god.
Well, don't you need a hit to have a base runner?
Oh my.
You can't have a base runner without getting a hit. And then he proceeds to follow it up with, you can ask all you want. I mean, it's not going to go any farther. So now something is bothering Terry Francona, either in this organization where you could see Terry Francona leave. No, the Yankees are not getting Terry Francona.
No.
We'll make sure that we release him after you hire a manager before that happens. Mm-hmm. So, but again, that's one of those things where you have these question marks, these head scratchers. I mean, I just don't get it.
Against the Orioles on Friday, Garrett Cole was pitching. Fabulous game. Shutout for 7 innings. Boone, 109 pitches. Of course, you have to take him out. Then he put Michael King.
Correct.
8 pitches, 2 outs. Good. Took him out. Then he got Wandy Peralta. 1 pitch, out. Then he took him out. Put Tommy Kennelly as a right-hander against Santander. Left-hander.
Yep.
Home run. End of the game.
Don't you love how that works?
And then he said, well, we have to rest some players. Okay, the day before you didn't play. Thursday. And Peralta got only 1 pitch.
Yeah.
Michael get 8 pitches. What do you think about tomorrow when you have this situation about the trade deadline is coming up? The Yankees are not sure what they're going to do, buy or sell. Right now, I agree 100%. You have to sell players at this point.
Yeah, you got to find a way.
You cannot catch the Houston Astros. You cannot catch Tampa Bay, and you cannot catch the Blue Jays either.
No.
Right now, you're behind from the Red Sox as well.
No way. There's no way this happens. There's nothing. You guys got to trade. That's something that we've been discussing for weeks now that needs to happen.
There's another one. 18 strikeouts by the Yankees on Sunday. And he said, even the strikeout rate, we did a good job. We tried to make an adjustment. What kind of adjustment? You just strike out 18 times in one game.
Yeah. Real quick, I know we just got a little off track there, but, it's frustration. I get it. It's that time of the year where you're making a playoff push or at least trying to make it back in there. Looks like right now on Twitter, the X, no longer Twitter, it's the X. Eduardo Rodriguez and Jake Flaherty have both strong markets with a little more than 2 hours left in the deadline. This is by John Morosi. Dodgers, Braves, Reds, Orioles, Marlins, Diamondbacks are all looking at rotation upgrades. Jake Flaherty to the Reds would be interesting because it's a division rival, but he has been killing it. They do have some prospects. It makes more sense for somebody like Flaherty to go to the Dodgers because it's not a division rival, and Rodriguez to go to the Reds or, in even this case, maybe the Diamondbacks. That's going to be a very interesting thing to see. We're going to keep updating on Twitter or the X to find out what's going on. Make sure you're following us on there so we can always put that out there first to know. We'll give you our live reactions. Looks like you have an update, and then we got to run through the rest of this list. So what's up with the update?
Aaron Boone said regarding the trade deadline that you could see everything from nothing to guys leaving to guys coming.
Yep. He's basically telling us exactly what the trade deadline is, not what they're doing. So bravo to him.
Bravo. And Terry Frank couldn't get your shit together too.
Yeah, he's killing me with Miles Straw. Hopefully Cleveland's smart and they're able to find a way to get rid of Straw and Josh Bell because they need to find a way to get rid of these guys. Josh Bell does have a player's option as well.
You think there's a chance that Cleveland can Guardians, can...
Yeah, I know what you're going with this.
Can
win the division?
Win the division.
They're one game back on the Twins.
Okay, so...
And again, everyone's going to say, well, they shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Well, sorry, that's the way baseball is. It goes by divisions, not by record.
Exactly.
This is not the NFL. And if it was, you'd have every single team in the American League East in there. And how does that work for market values? The Midwest would basically just never spend. Mm-hmm. They would be the Orioles, what the Orioles were the last 6 years, up until the last two. Continuing on here, you brought up the Angels. Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez, a starting pitcher and relief pitcher, go to the White Sox. They desperately needed it, and they were able to get one right here with that trade. They give up Kai Bush and Edgar Quero, pitcher and catcher, to the White Sox. Excuse me. Dodgers do the same thing. They go after the White Sox here. I don't know what it is in L.A. and targeting White Sox pitchers or players, but this is the way it works. Lance Lynn, starting pitcher, and Joe Kelly back with the Dodgers. Can we talk about that? Because that is great. Put him back in that Dodger blue, and he's going to start doing little Carlos Correa faces at him. Nick Nastrini. Wow, that's a...
Nastrini.
Yeah, Nastrini. That's a pitcher going back to the White Sox. Jordan Leisure, pitcher, and Trace Thompson, center fielder, go back to the White Sox. That's a guy to be looking at when you're looking at the White Sox and their free agency next couple of years. It's going to be very interesting.
Yep.
Astros are in this as well with the White Sox. Kendall Graveman, relief pitcher, for Corey Lee, catcher. Easy swap right there.
He used to play for the Astros before Graveman?
I believe he did. It was either him or the Cardinals, maybe. Okay. Not too sure on that. But that runs through our what we've seen, like, major trade-wise. I will say this, though. You brought up the Angels and who they've acquired. So I actually made a list, and we'll pull that up right now. They have acquired, since June 23rd, they have made 6 trades. You ready for this?
Okay.
Eduardo Escobar, third baseman. They traded for him on June 23rd. Then they traded for Mike Moustakas on June 25th. 2 days later, they traded for 2 third basemen. Obviously, that's because of Rendon and his awful contract.
Awful.
That might be the reason why they don't sign Ohtani, even though reports did break. Ohtani is still in play for the Angels to sign.
Yeah, it's just a marketing
thing.
He'll
take a pay cut. He'll take a pay cut to stay there. I think he will. Ohtani? He wants to stay near Japan. He wants to stay near his hometown. He likes LA. He likes playing with Trout. Those two, he could take a pay cut. You could see Mike Trout maybe renegotiate his contract.
Maybe.
There's some flexibility there.
Maybe he will be traded. Don't know.
Maybe Trout could be traded. We talked about that in a couple episodes back or whatever. And then we were just brought up Ronaldo Lopez, relief pitcher, and Giolito, both pitcher right there, starting pitcher, July 27th on that trade. And then they get Randall Grishik and C.J. Cron. on July 31st. So, I mean, they've got 6 players. They've gotten better. They have depth. They have power guys. They have guys that are good defensively. Crone and Randall Grichuk especially are good defensively. I mean, that's something that's fantastic.
It's fantastic
that's good for
what
them.
the Angels are doing because before.
Right behind you, breaking news a couple hours ago is Brand Hand goes to the Braves from the Rockies.
Yeah,
he's been doing better.
He's doing better with the Rockies.
He'll do better. Well, the problem is that ball flies out of Coors Field. Yeah, he was playing with the Rockies. So, yeah. Oh, breaking news, Astro. Okay, that's already been. Yeah,
that's Justin Verlander.
I love how ESPN's always behind by like 25 minutes.
Behind, come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other updates as of right now. I mean, we're just sitting
what's the
here.
other team that besides the Yankees not making any trades so far?
I mean, Orioles really haven't made any trades yet.
Making a lot of trades with selling players,
and that's expected. You know what's weird to me? I'll bring this one up. The Padres, and actually, I'm just about to bring it up. And what pulls up on the TV? Padres trade for Rich Hill and G-Man Choi. That makes no sense to me. No sense. You were supposed to be sellers.
Yankees
They're not there competing.
Yankees not doing any trades. That's the surprise.
How many games back are the Dodgers? Can you pull that up?
Oh, sure.
Or not the Dodgers, the Padres. Excuse me.
Padres are behind from what? So they are 4th place in the NL West division, 8.5 behind for the Dodgers. In the wild card, they are 5 games behind from Milwaukee, from the 3rd spot. So it's surprising. Yeah. You know what's surprising? Cincinnati Reds in the 1st place too.
Yeah, that's definitely a big surprise to me. That's going to be very interesting to see how this goes about. They got how many games are they up right now? The Reds.
They are 1.5 up, 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
Okay. And 2nd place is the Brewers. I'm assuming. I'm looking it up now. Yeah, and then like I said, the Cubs are playing 500 ball. They're not out of it, but they're not really competing.
No.
The Cardinals are obviously going to jump the Pirates now. Speaking of the Cardinals, that is something I meant to pull up real quick. Going back to my Twitter.
That farm system, the Cardinals can be on 1st place in the farm system by next year.
They very well could be, especially when you trade to the Blue Jays shortstop Paul DeJong.
So Andrew Chaffin goes to the Brewers from the Diamondbacks.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So you traded away a relief pitcher for a relief pitcher. Like you got rid of Chaffin, but then you got Sewell. They're making a move for starting pitching with that. I'm telling you that right now. They have to be.
Yeah. It's just crazy right now.
I'm expecting Eduardo Rodriguez to be the one to do that. Let's see here. Yeah, like I stated, the Orioles could be in play as well for
Orioles. They have
Eduardo Rodriguez
to make a huge trade, but I think the huge trade was going to be Verlander. But I was thinking about seriously. I don't think the Verlander want to go to the Orioles, especially if the Houston Astros was so interesting to make a trade. So because that relationship with the owner.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for that deal to swing through was exactly that. They needed that ownership to be there.
Okay, so any players that you think that the Cleveland needs at this moment? I think you need a cat. No, not a catcher.
Not a catcher.
But do you need?
They need to get rid of Cam Gallagher at this point.
Oh wow.
They need to. David Fry needs to be your backup.
You need a bullpen help a little bit, huh?
No. So that's another thing that's irritating me with Cleveland right now. You have Morris, Daniel Norris, excuse me, and Michael Kelly up here right now.
Okay.
They need to be gone. Those are journeymen. We're tired of it. They need to go. You need to bring Karinchak back up. He needs to come up. He's posting, I believe, a little over a 2 ERA over about 12 games right now in AAA. His stuff's back at being better. He seems to have his control back. I just don't get it. Like, what took them so long to bring Oscar up? I watched the game on Sunday, and what happened with Oscar Gonzalez? He draws a walk on a 3-2 count. Like, he was down 1-2 and drew it back to a walk. He watched the pitches. He's better with his eyes and stuff like that. I mean, I just don't get it. If you're asking me about Cleveland, I think your best bet is you're going to need outfield help.
Yeah.
And that's why I originally thought, okay, maybe you swing Savali and you can get, Santander or Austin Hayes. Both are on expiring contracts, and maybe go get Keachton from
that's a good one.
Their top prospect in the outfield for them.
So,
what are the Padres going to do?
I don't
because
know.
they have too many players.
They have a tough spot.
You know who I'd like to see Cleveland go get? Trent Grisham.
Woo.
Go get Trent Grisham. That outfield's too loaded anyway. Yep. Angels pull Ohtani off the trade market on July 26th. Yeah, that just broke on the TV.
So I don't know if that's a good thing to do. If they don't make the playoffs.
You know what makes no sense to me? Yeah, I mean, they're going to make the playoffs now. You know what doesn't make sense to me, though? The Yankees are thinking about bringing back Sonny Gray.
Yeah, that was another one. I heard that rumor. I said, what in the hell are you thinking? You just dump him to the Reds.
Yeah.
And then you want him back, because he's doing a good job.
Yeah.
So far outside from New York. And the Yankees said, well, you're not a good pitcher in New York. So why in the hell that you trying to bring him back?
It's almost as if like they just.
When I saw that shit, I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
When I saw that report that the Yankees are thinking to bring back Sonny Gray, I said, what in the hell are you thinking?
By the way, right behind you, Angels, they're showing the stats for some of these trades right now. Going back, Angels, Grichuk. Now, Randal Grichuk is with the Angels. He is batting .307 on the year as a right fielder. And Cron's doing about .254. So, they got power now on top of overall hitting. But, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. At that point, you would think the Yankees are going to go, let's just go get Gallo at this point. What, you just going to bring back everyone you guys didn't like and then trade it away?
I don't know
Makes
what
no
this
sense.
front office are doing. But somebody have to go. The Yankees not miss the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs, but it looks like 90%, they're going to miss the playoffs. Somebody will have to get fired. Somebody will, unfortunately, Aaron Boone is not the manager for this team. He's not. I'm sorry.
You guys got to figure that out.
He's not. And Brian Cashman is another one building that stupid roster. And I have to say that stupid roster. Unbelievable. Just disappointing season. They're supposed to win the division. They had the same freaking lineup. From last year. Do you understand what happened in August of last year? You guys sucked in office of last year in August. And then in the playoffs, you guys suck by Cleveland.
Almost lost to us.
And you almost lost that round. And then you got swept by the Astros. No offense either. And then you bring the same freaking rotation. Brian Cashman said, that's a lot of injuries, Come on. What's going on this year? You going to blame the injuries once again? You said that you need a left fielder. And you said, we have enough guys that can take that spot. Nobody's taking that spot as of yet.
No.
You can see the OPS differential, runs differential in that area. I think that we are in 28 in the league. 28. And the offense almost on last place. We are, I think they put the stats of how many hits they have the Yankees this year. They're in the 29 in the league. The last place is the Athletics. And we are 15 hits more than the Athletics at this point. Seriously.
Okay, I was looking at this real quick while you were going on your little rant there. It looks like the reason the Blue Jays did trade for Paul DeJong.
Okay.
Looks like Bo Bichette should be out for a little bit. He's going to be day to day, but he has no structural damage in his right knee. He did have an injury. And then you want to talk about injuries. One of that would be Taylor Ward getting hit in the face by Alek Manoah on a fastball. That's a fracture to the face. That is that is terrible. If you haven't seen the video, I highly recommend don't watching it.
No.
Don't watch it. Don't do it. All right, well, this is going on 30 minutes now, so make sure you follow us on Twitter.
Yes,
We're going to
follow
keep
us.
up on all the trades and trying to keep up with our opinion on it and stuff like that. Other than that, you guys have a good one.
Have a good one.